Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Overseas Famous Podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Owens. We have an amazing show today. We are joined by three members of the South African cricket team, which is a huge honor because cricket is the second most popular sport in the world. Besides overseas, we call it football. In America, we call it soccer. Cricket is number two, above baseball, above the NFL, above the NBA, which is a very global sport. Cricket is so popular. So we're joined by three members of the South African cricket team. It was a great conversation. So we were joined by Keshav Maharaj, which is a bowler. I think I called him a pitcher or a thrower. In cricket, it's called a bowler. I'm an idiot. Tony Zorzi, he is a batsman, very talented left-handed batsman, and Matt Breetzke. The three very talented members of that South African national team, which is one of the best cricket teams in the world. So when we talk about the second most famous sport, and now we are talking about one of the best teams in the world. So very popular, very fun conversation. So listen in as we sit down with Keshav, Tony, and Matt. So as I was saying before, cricket is the most popular, besides soccer, for the American fans and for our overseas fans. Football, cricket is the number two most popular sport in the world. It is also so much fun to watch. If you are an American and you never got the chance to watch cricket, you need to check it out because it is just an absolute blast. I'm a huge baseball fan, so I always liked cricket. When I played in Australia and lived in Australia, I would watch the cricket matches because it was just something that adhered to me. It was just so much fun. So long story short, we already introduced the guys, but now they're sitting with us. Keshav, we have Tony, Matt. It feels like everyone calls you by your last name because I used to be called KO. No one called me Kevin. If someone called me Kevin from my basketball days, I'd be like, I don't understand.
Weird one. When someone calls me Matthew, I think they're angry with me.
So as we were talking about cricket, such a popular sport, and we have these three amazing athletes from South Africa here to talk to us a little bit about that. I was a big pitcher growing up. So when you have these different throwing styles, now Keshav, you have this unique throwing style, something that not many people do, and you're a lefty. How did you develop that? Because I know lefties are tough to hit off.
Yeah, that's my bowling style. Yeah, look, it goes through trial and error, especially as a younger kid. Now that I'm a lot more older, I wouldn't say older, actually much more wiser. I would say that you sort of get accustomed to a lot of things, and it becomes a natural for you. So I think throughout the years you do a trial and error, develop the technique, and you find what works best for you. I mean, I don't believe there's a right and wrong way to bowling. I think you've got to work with what you got and try fine tune. So I think it's the years and years of repetition that has brought me to my action being the way it is.
Tony, you are a terrific batsman. You guys have gone against each other as well. Do you find that it's harder to hit that left-handed throwing style?
No, because I'm left-handed. Technically, it should be easier. But Kesh is a really good pitcher. And he's got
a bowler. Yes.
good skills. He's probably one of the more like streetwise like spin bowlers because I mean. Him being a finger spinner, he's not going to bowl like doozers and googlies, but he beats a lot of guys in flight, guile, and because he watches the batters and he picks up tails quite quickly on if guys are going to run at him or sweep or whatever. So, yeah, I'd say it technically should be easier, but Kesh is one of the best in the world for reasons. So, yeah. But if it's mine, I'll smash him.
So, Matt, what do you think is your strength as a batsman? Oh, sorry. Oh, go ahead, Matt.
I think probably say everything.
Maddie, check your Wi-Fi first. It might help.
I would like. Well, I've only got Wi-Fi because my cellular data is not working, so this is gonna have to do. I think my strengths are probably my offside game, which is the offside. I would like to say I sort of try to score all around the ground and sort of a 360 player, which I'm working towards becoming a little bit better at. But I mean, over the years, I've sort of gotten better at playing on the leg side and just keep trying to improve both sides of the wicket.
So we talked a little bit about that left-handed throwing and the ability to spin the ball, because that is so unique. When you're able to spin a ball and that ball looks like it's bouncing out of the zone and all of a sudden it takes the wicket and you're like, what the hell just happened? I compare it to wiffle ball. If you guys know American wiffle ball, where the ball starts up here and all of a sudden it's spinning and hitting the thing behind you and you're like, that I couldn't even hit that. Is that just technique? Is that just your wrist motion? Because I know a good curveball that really snaps off. Is that something you just practice over and over again?
Yeah, I think so we get two types of spinners, as you call it. You get a wrist spinner and a finger spinner. I fall into the latter, being a finger spinner. And it comes from, actually, it sounds weird, but you actually do a little bit of strength exercises for your fingers, so they get stronger. And you can put more energy onto the ball. It's also a combination of your action and getting over basically your front leg to get momentum onto the ball, which causes the ball to obviously do things in the air, like your curveball in baseball. And as it comes down, it gives it the best energy to basically react off the wicket. And wrist spinners do the opposite. They actually strengthen their wrists. I'm not sure if like boxers do the, I can't remember what they do, those things that they squeeze together. So it actually builds your wrist and forearms nicely. So, they do the similar thing, but they probably don't get as much in the air, but more off the wicket. And they can do a little bit more variations from the hand opposed to the finger spinner. So, strengthening exercises and a lot of repetition, I would say.
Matt and Tony, how often are you just like, I'm just going to launch this thing? Like you see it coming, you're like, I'm stepping up and I'm shooting this over to Australia. And is there a different mindset with different pitchers with different throwers when you step up and you're like, I'm going to actually just swing as hard as I can and launch in the space? And then other times you're just like, I just have to protect.
I think the best person to answer this is Maddie, because he's the one who's currently launching the guys outside of the stadium. I'm playing more of a supporting role and I'm learning from him actually. So I think Maddie should watch.
I think for me it depends on the conditions, but 90% of the time in my mind I'm wanting to sort of, like you say, launch it into the stars. But again, that depends on the situation. Like if there's 0 wickets down or 1 wicket down, then that's sort of the mindset. But if there are a few wickets down, like 4 wickets down, your mindset sort of changes to sort of build an innings where it's, like you say, protect the wickets and sort of play a more team role. Where I bat at the top of the order, it's, like I say, when there's no wickets down, you want to sort of take on that power play and play positively, which is for the team. And then, like if there's wickets down, then you want to protect the wickets, like you say.
So, Tony, any memorable moments that stood out?
I'd say probably more recently, like against in India, because I mean I played a couple international games and I only got 150 against West Indies, which was nice. But I think getting 100 against India, like when we were chasing and stuff like that, was full stadium. That was a cool moment, and then I think that was something that made me feel like I can compete properly at this level. So I'd say that I probably won't forget that.
There is that moment that you guys all probably had, like Tony, you just talked about, where you were able to step up in a huge role in front of a huge crowd in some kind of enormous high pressure test match where you were in that role and you had to really come up with a big throw or a big hit. What was that moment for each of you?
I think probably last year we were playing for this team as well, Durban Super Giants against MI Cape Town, and I happened to hit the winning runs for the team in quite a crucial game. And I think when I realized was, I mean, we had an international pro at the other end, and he sort of said, like, I need to take the strike. I need to try and win the game. And I was like, still young and not really backing myself, but deep inside knew I could do it. And yeah, took it on and hit the winning runs. And after that, my career sort of gone up a notch and gave me a lot of self-belief. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it was my test debut against Australia. It's walking down, getting abused by the crowd. And then, yeah, wasn't nice, but like I think it spurred me on. And then one of our leading bowlers broke his shoulder on the field, and I just got thrown the ball, and I didn't look back from that day. So yeah, I think that was one of the defining moments in my career that really stood out. I ended up bowling pretty well on my debut, and yeah, the rest was history.
Let's talk about fans real quick, because you guys all mentioned how the fans have played a role. It's intense. How would you compare a cricketing fan base to the rest of the world?
I think wherever you go in the world, the fans kind of vary. It can be hostile in certain places. It can be very vibey in certain places, and then it can be quite the ethos of cricket is still maintained in certain venues. So I think it differs according to the venues you play at. Obviously, experience all types of that. It is something that one has to experience, I suppose, in any type of sporting code. They spur you on, they motivate you at times. They can get under your skin at times, but I think that's the beauty of playing professional sport, where people come and watch at the end of the day.
Has anyone ever experienced something that was just a little out there in terms of fans' interaction on the field or off? I know I played in a lot of places in that Balkan Peninsula of Europe, and they're lighting flares. I don't know if you guys ever saw that clip of Partizan where they're lighting flares and there's a basketball game going on. Have you guys ever played in an atmosphere where you're just like, whoa, this is a little
I don't think on the large scale of like what you've experienced with flares and stuff. I just think they can be guys after a few drinks can be a little intoxicated and hurl a bit of abuse, here and there. But yeah, look, nothing on the scale that you've experienced, but more the verbal aspect of a lot of things that we get from guys who have nothing better to do on a Sunday than to come there and yeah, just wind the boys up a little bit.
Yeah, it's outdoor sports. I feel like go that way, because when people are outside and they're tailgating and are getting ready for the game, they tend to really have a good time. So when you have nothing to do on a Sunday, I compare it to American football. That's what I would compare that fan base to, where they come in and they're just like a little angry, but nothing crazy, where they're not going to throw snowballs or anything like that. I'm from Philadelphia, by the way, so in case you've heard about bad fans before, that's where I'm from. Not that I'm a bad fan. So, Tony, what role models really put you into this place, and what lessons have you learned from them?
I'd say one of my my mom's probably my biggest one, but that's more like off the field. And then like cricket stuff, I'd say I wouldn't have like specific role models, but there's guys like that you always speak to and connect with. So when I was like younger, there was a guy at the Titans. His name was Jonathan Van Dier. So he kind of looked after me. He was a talented batter. I still speak to him now about my batting and stuff like that. So he's someone I always kind of speak to. And then another one would probably be Kruger. When I was at Tux, the university, he was a coach there. I had a pretty average World Cup. Not average, it was horrible. And then he still kind of backed me and spoke to me, and at that time it was probably very important for my development, and I'm still quite close to him now. So I'd say there's a few guys that I connect with, and then like coaches and stuff at Province. And then when you play in these types of tournaments, you try to pick up on things from all the senior guys in different countries in the team. But I wouldn't say there's like one focal mentor or something like that. I don't really.
The cool thing is that you're all teammates, and you seem to actually to all get along. And that sounds, as I use the word actually, you've been in different paths and different clubs coming up, but then you come together. But you have that bond. Is that something that's difficult, going from a club team to your national team and having to kind of handle the different personalities? Because you guys seem to handle it well, because you were all laughing and having a good time, which is really something cool to see.
Yeah, I think if you look at these tournaments, time together is quite limited, and tours do become long if you isolate yourself. So, we find a way where we keep an open culture where guys enjoy each other's company. Naturally, guys will gravitate towards certain people they feel comfortable with, and that's fully respected in the team. But I think we have a good bunch of characters, and we find a way of getting along together, and it's translated really nicely onto the field this year. Nothing is forced, especially in this team environment. We'd rather have it be open and honest than fake and fickle. But I think the thing that, to answer your question, I think it is kind of difficult at times, especially because you've got a lot of overseas players that guys haven't been interacting with ever before. But I think the nice part is that some of them are actually our idols. So, you get to sort of piggyback on their knowledge and spend some time in the change room and things like that. And I do believe that, the performances actually highlight that even more, with the guys enjoying each other's company, sharing a few drinks after the game, having a bit of banter. In cricket, in our environment, there's a lot of sarcastic banter that flies around, as you can see from the way we talk to each other. But I think that's what keeps us going. And that's the beauty of having a very diverse change room.
You guys play a lot of different places. What is your favorite place to play?
From a fan base, I think India is probably the best in the world. You're never going to experience crowds and fanatics the way you experience there. Yeah, England's nice. The social element of the boys, I'm sure will agree. The off the field stuff, England is pretty fun. There's a lot to do. Boys enjoy it. It's more relaxed. You can go out in the town, venture out. And then I think from a pure cricket, I think there's Australia is the one nation that winds South Africans up in general. So I think from a cricket perspective, Australia is probably the one place where you actually go there, with proper purpose and to prove a point. But having said that, South Africa is still the best place, I believe. So yeah, maybe I'm a sense of bias.
Cape Town's cool to play, but outside of Cape Town's my favorite. And I say outside of Cape Town, I really enjoyed playing in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is cool. Oh yeah, Durban's cool, bro. But Sri Lanka is one place I enjoy traveling. I haven't played in England and Australia for national stuff, so I haven't really experienced it on that level. So Sri Lanka is really cool. Galle is beautiful. So lots of foreigners by the ocean, surfer vibes. I enjoyed Sri Lanka, to be honest.
It's probably England. I haven't played there on an international, professional level. I played club level there, but like Keshav said, like the social element behind the game and the boys just loving to have a drink after the game, and I really enjoyed that. And yeah,
highlight it more, Mary, elaborate on the off-field stuff, please.
Yeah, I didn't know you do stuff off the field. What is that exactly?
What are you talking about?
This podcast.
It's more just having drinks with the boys after the game, going to a few nice places, seeing a couple of nice people in England. But yeah, and then India is also cool because just their love for the game, and you see cricket in a different perspective when you go to India, and that sort of humbles you in a way. So yeah, I enjoyed India as well.
Growing up in South Africa, what was the thing that stood out to you?
Apart from the beach, I'm going to say food. I actually think we have some of the best cuisines in the world. We've got a wide variety. And we have good people in South Africa. I think we're one of the most friendly nations and very hospitable. So yeah, that's the things that stand out most for me.
What do you think, Tony?
I was going to say food as well. I would say growing up in South Africa, what I've enjoyed is I think our like not fans or whatever, but like how we are with like rugby and cricket. Even like we were watching Bafana the other night. That's one thing I think in South Africa is quite cool. Like if something's happening for our country, like even with Drickers fighting, like the guy, even if they don't know it, if it's South African and they like can see it, they'll get behind it, which is quite cool. Like we all, even at schools and stuff, like if it's like first team rugby, like we quite like sports thingy, and we love like our country people doing well. Like I saw that lady just won a Grammy, so South Africans are posting it, but they probably never even heard her song. So I don't know. I enjoy that. I enjoy that about South Africa.
What do you think, Matt?
I completely agree with Tony. I think the way the people get behind their sports teams, it sort of motivates you as a professional sportsman to want to play at the highest level, because it sort of unites the country and everything that South Africa's been through as a country. Sport is the one thing that sort of unites the people. So yeah, it's special. Yeah.
Matty for president.
Solution.
When we have, so we're kind of rapids can all kind of hit and answer. You guys weren't if you weren't a cricketer, what profession would you guys be?
I would have been a footballer or a chef.
Nice.
Footballer.
But you have not seen it like indoor football field.
Please relax on that. That's a dream.
But I'm a 34-year-old.
Just say the chef. Say chef, bro. I don't know why you say footballer.
No.
Chef,
You guys
fine.
are tired. It's building day. Come on.
I would have been a rugby player.
A rugby player.
Of course. I have the
lines-
credentials, but go look at my CV.
You'd be the
Your
linesman,
football, your football, the way you saying football, no one's ever said you play football.
That's the good point. I had to give Ronaldo a chance. Did you not know that?
Nah.
No, leave football.
Let him have it. Yeah, let Ronaldo have his shine.
Matty,
Yeah,
come on,
rugby.
don't say boxing, Matty, because I've seen you get knocked out a few times.
I think Maddie would have been a psychologist.
Yeah. I actually think you might have done ballet.
I would have, yeah, thanks. But
Now, back you, I think you would have been a sprinter.
I actually wouldn't have mind being a boxer, to be honest.
Nice. Man, a fighter to do that every single day, like just sitting there training and someone's punching me in the face every day, I'd be like, I'm over this. This is getting ridiculous. Next, favorite cheat meal.
Pizza.
Pizza.
Fried calamari and egg combo with chips.
Nice. What's your favorite fast food place?
Five Guys.
Tony, you're speaking to my heart, because Five Guys would be my cheat meal and my favorite place. Always love a good burger.
I'm gonna go Pizza Hut.
Yeah, I don't really eat fast food, to be honest.
Yo, that is such a lie.
I don't eat fast food, but
Guys talking
Have you
nonsense.
seen your size, bud?
what do you mean? I'm an
There's-
athlete, but
That on the top. I don't know about the bottom part of you. Your waist down.
wow.
I feel like there's a really good one-on-one with Maddie that needs to be coming on national TV, because I imagine there's a lot of good stories back there.
Plenty.
Go-to karaoke song.
Mary J. Blige, Be Without You. Black Eyed Peas, My Humps.
Nice.
Jeepers, this is hard.
No, it's not good. I'll sing so long.
Yeah, come on, make
Go
us
on, man.
entertain us.
Come, bud. Sing.
Let me warm up. Ma. Maddie, what's your favorite song?
I'm trying to think, man. I have a few songs in my mind. I just don't know the names.
I'm gonna go This I Promise You by InSync, I think it was.
I like
Westlife, one
that.
of the,
It's a solid,
How does
solid
it?
pick.
yeah.
Kesh, how does it go? I'm not sure how it goes. Can you just?
Yeah. Just open your phone, go on Google, and type in This I Promise You. You'll find it there.
So good.
I'll go with Sweet Caroline. I know it's traditional,
Nah,
whatever. But
No, it
You're
works.
gonna go with.
it's the only one I can
I
think
think you
of.
go, but you probably go Barbie Girl.
Yeah, I'll go Barbie Girl.
So last question, and I think I might know the answer to this just based on what we've said before, but if you could switch lives with any teammate for a day, who would it be?
Quentin de Kock.
Sure. In this
Why
team
do you-
or just in the team in general?
Any team, yeah, like any team, like any teammate you've had.
Any teammate? Oh, okay.
I'm gonna say AB de Villiers.
What do you get? What about those guys do you think would make them so switchable? And you don't have to say, like, if they have a hot wife or something, that you don't have to say it. I don't want to get anyone in trouble. I'm just saying, like, what other aspects would you want to switch? I'm trying.
He's naturally,
like to know.
yeah. You go ahead.
I'd
Go
just
ahead,
love
Matty.
to know what. I'd love to know what goes through Quinny's mind. Like sometimes I just look at him and I'm thinking like I don't understand what's going through his mind. So I'd just love to sort of go through what he goes through, especially when he bats.
Pretty much like your Wi-Fi. I'm gonna say, yeah. AB de Villiers because yeah, he was a freak. Honestly, if someone was half as gifted and talented as him, yeah, and I just love to know like his processes and things, and I'd love to have his bank account balance right
And
now.
the cat.
Ah, yes, yes. The bank account is huge too. It's very smart. It's always go with their bank account. Tony, what do you think?
David Goggins for the win.
I'll go Carl Mayers. I'd love to just be Carl Mayers for one day. Talk with the cool accents, cold chains. Go to the Caribbean. I think it'll be sick.
Well, gentlemen, have a great camaraderie, but on top of that, you guys provide a lot of insight into a sport that for an American audience, not many people know much about, but for an overseas audience is the biggest thing out there. Thank you for presenting such a great front of who you guys are as people, but as who you guys are as athletes as well.
Cheers. Thank you so much for
Thank
having
you
us.
very much.
Just bro.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you guys.
Cheers, brother.
This has been the Overseas Famous Podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Owens, joined by incredible members from the South African national cricket team. We will see you guys next week on the Overseas Famous Podcast.